Hello there, and thank you for joining into the video. Joining me today is Claudia Neumeister from Luxdates. Claudia, hi there, how are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm great. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. And what we're talking about today is a new coaching program you're introducing, specifically aimed at men, is my understanding of it. But for
Yeah.
people who maybe don't know Luxdates and exactly what you do and how you work, just give us the 30-second intro for Luxdates, if you could.
Yeah. So Luxdates is a matchmaking agency I founded 5 years ago. I work mostly in Luxembourg and the surrounding countries, and I meet all my clients in person. I get to know them. I get to learn about their interests in life, where they want to be with their life, what they're looking for in a partner. And then I make matches discreetly.
And I have seen some of the feedback that you get from the people when you make this match, which is really incredible to see. So it's clearly great work that you're doing as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So this new coaching course program, who's it aimed at? Who's it for?
It's aimed at men, I simply discovered through the work that I've been doing that some men may need a little extra help in learning how to communicate on a first date, so that they can get to second, third date and to the relationship that they want.
Right. Okay. I know. And again, as we know, I'm not the best qualified to talk about dating. I had a date when I was 15 and we got married. So all very good. But in terms of the, dating, in my mind, I think it would terrify me. I don't think I'd have the first clue. But in your opinion, what are some of the basic mistakes or errors that men make when they're going on dates?
Yeah, there's two categories of feedback that I get from women. One is, I couldn't get in a word, he was talking so much about himself.
Really?
So that is one element. And the other one is that the woman tells me, I feel I know everything about him. He doesn't know anything about me, and he never asked a single question.
Wow.
That's the feedback. So it goes, and then I talked to the men. I said, "What happened?" Because I know them, and I know they're good guys, and they're even though I coach some of them before the date, it still happens, and their perspective is very different. And they're not aware that they were talking a mile a minute, and they say, you know what, I was really nervous, and I didn't dare asking a question. I didn't want to be too nosy, and that is how, from a communication perspective, a date can go totally wrong, and the woman doesn't feel heard.
And do you find that men are, I mean, I assume they would be nervous. We're talking about here, the art of conversation, the first step, getting to a second date as well. Is it nerves that trips these guys up a lot, do you think?
Yeah, it's nerves. It's lack of practice.
Yeah.
It's lack of awareness of one's communication style and communication needs, and the other person's communication style, communication needs. But yeah, mostly nerves and lack of awareness.
Okay, so when the topic for this the coaching program, then the art of having a conversation, what I mean, I think I can guess why that specific, but you must have seen this quite a lot coming through in the work that you do, why it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody thinks they're a great communicator, and most of the people aren't. Even people teaching communication aren't necessarily great communicators. So we all of us can learn to communicate better, but especially in a situation where it really matters to engage with the other person. Communication skills are critical. Thankfully, that can be learned, and it can be learned without losing one's authenticity. So if you think of somebody who's a great communicator. A lot of people think of a used car salesman, like, oh yeah, somebody's trying to sell me something and says the things that the other person wants to hear and is not authentic. But that is not what great communication is all about. Great communication is about learning how to communicate, learning to adapt one's style of communication while remaining authentic.
Yes.
And that in order to reach that level, there's a great deal of introspection necessary. But really, the good news is that good communication can be learned.
And presumably, I mean, I have this sort of image, and I had this when we were over in the UK. I went to a training program for sales, not for dating. And this guy came out of the training, and he had a questionnaire to take with into a sales meeting. And of course, he was having the meeting, and he was literally reading off the script.
Yeah.
And wait, and I'm presuming that's not the case here at all. But there's conversation, there's verbal, non-verbal skills as well that come into this. I would have thought as part of the conversational style.
Indeed, one cannot communicate. So even if we don't say something, we do communicate, and non-verbal communication is a big part. And the remaining authentic also expresses itself through non-verbal communication. So this is not about learning a script. This is about learning a skill. And think about learning a new sport or learning a new language. At the beginning, it feels a little bit awkward, but then the more you practice, the easier it becomes. And that's the same with communication.
So when men, I mean, talking about men specifically, and I sort of understand this, they learn these new variety of skills, how to unlearn, I guess, some habits as well.
Become aware.
There's a better word. Become aware of it. This will, it'll solve some problems, but make them more engaging, attractive, and the women want to be around with them, meet again. Then that's the plan, is it?
Yeah, that's the plan, and that's also the reality.
Yeah.
The way that people connect, it's not some kind of magic, or there's no special skill that some people are better than others. Sure. The way how people engage on an emotional level is by being heard, by asking questions, by listening, being thoughtful about the follow-up, and really listening with an open mind and an open heart, and then also allowing the other person to speak. That is how an emotional connection is being forged.
And is it, and this is something I'm sure you'll cover this on the course, but just out of interest, is it to sort of reveal some of yourself and be slightly vulnerable and that type of thing in the conversation? Or I bet you can go too far with that. I don't know. Is that something to
definitely. So that's also some feedback I hear sometimes, that people overshare on the first date.
Right.
Like they're like, oh, this is me and all my mistakes on the first date. You have it.
Whether you want it or not, you're going to get everything.
Yeah, exactly. So that's also not necessarily, it's not a good tactic. But so we have to be aware of the situation and the person we're talking to, and it's a fine line to walk between being vulnerable and open and oversharing. But it's also something that I teach during the course. So
this is part of the skill set,
Yeah, absolutely. And has to do with awareness.
Yeah, of course. Okay. So looking at this course then, I mean, how long has it structured? How long is the course? What's the duration of the course?
So the course is taught over 5 modules, with 3 hours each. So it's a 15-hour course. Yeah. And it's taught on 5 consecutive Saturdays, starting April the 2nd and ending April the 30th. Yeah. And we're meeting in a in a nice setting. It's taught in person. It's
That's
very,
in
very
person. Oh, thank
important.
goodness for that. Okay,
Yeah,
great, good.
yeah, it's an in-person event, obviously following the COVID rules, which
Sure.
are available or which are valid at that time. And it's a it's a very intimate setting, a place where it's a safe place where people can share. So I established some rules in the beginning, how we want to treat each other, how we want to be with each other, and it's very, very interactive.
So, so it's over the 5 weeks. It starts in April, which is fantastic. And just give us a flavour. We've covered quite a bit of ground already. But what type of areas will you be covering during the program?
Yeah, so I cover the area of self-awareness. So first of all, discovering your own communication style, your own communication needs. What is your go-to way of communicating? How do you communicate under stress? Are you flight or fight or hide kind of person?
Yeah.
So how do you do that? And then we look at adopting other styles, and how that would look, and also other and recognizing and adopting other communication needs. We practice active listening as part of the part of this course. We look at something that's called the inner team. So who are all the different voices inside us, and how do we handle them? And of course we cover how to communicate properly on a first date. And it's not quantum physics. It's not difficult. But everybody thinks they're good, or they just think it's set. That's the way they are. No, you can learn how to be a great first date. It's not about being interesting, but it's about being interested in the other person, showing a genuine interest, and then that makes you also interesting to a woman.
I saw a little clip on a TV series over in the UK, and it was a comedy sketch, but a couple are having this conversation in this sort of approach, and the guy was talking about all this sort of thing, and that was about 10 minutes of him just talking. He said, well, that's enough about me. What do you think about me? And he made it into everything about him. I just wondered if that is something that you may see in degrees in the work that you do.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a very nice example, and a funny way of twisting this asking questions.
Exactly.
Ask a question about me.
So what about me? It's all about me. Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's definitely an area we cover, and it's not uncommon. And if you have that style, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's just
no, absolutely. No.
Yeah. Something should change.
I remember this going back some years ago now. I was given a book by a client, and it was called, and the people listening and watching this may have come across this sort of thing, but it's an interesting point I think we need to make. The book was called The Game, I think it was by Neil Strauss, I think it was. And he gave me this book all excited. He said, look, this will change your life. I said, well, I've been married for 32 years. It's not going to change my life. But there's a tendency, I think, out there for some men to treat learning skills as pickup artists, basically, which I'm assuming is not the case here at all. But how does this differ from that? This is a very unfortunate perception out there. It's out there in some areas, but how does this differ from that sort of approach?
Yeah, it's so I'm aware of pickup artists and the tools they offer. And I think one of the reasons why men are kind of drawn to this is because it offers a process. You do this, and then you can kiss the girl, or get the phone number, or whatever. This is not what works with if you want to create an emotional bond with a woman.
Absolutely.
Women notice that they're being played with, or that they're being manipulated, and then it gets ugly, and you don't want that. So this is not a course about being manipulative. This is not a course that teaches you how to close a target. I mean, the vocabulary.
Horrible phrases, aren't they? But yes.
Yeah, really, really strange. Now, this course really teaches on how to engage at an emotional level that leads to a relationship. And that is the difference. So you can go to a pickup artist course all you want, and then maybe even a woman gives you her phone number, but then what?
It won't be her own phone number though. Well, it'll be somebody else's phone number she gives. I would have thought. They've got any sense. I would have thought, because
I think it's a very strange movement, and
I agree.
For women, this doesn't exist.
No, exactly. Yeah, I can imagine.
We don't work like that.
No, who does? I mean, really, who does? I don't think. But anyway, but I think you're looking at the work that you do. You make the introduction. You're making that professional selected introduction anyway. And what we're talking about here is just making the most of that initial introduction, having the conversation. There's no picking up required. It's just having the conversation and having being attractive enough to have a second date as well. So
absolutely, and it's not only interesting for men who use matchmaking services like mine, but also for men who rely on dating apps to meet women. There's so much that can go. There's really so much that can go wrong, even before they get to the first date, where they shoot themselves out of the playing field. We cover that as well. Okay. But the focus is really on being, two people in a situation together and getting to second date.
Fabulous. And is there an age limit on this program at all? Any age restrictions?
No, there is no age limit. So young men, middle-aged or older men or middle-aged, whatever, everybody benefits from the skills that are being taught in this course, and not only in their love life, but also in their professional and family lives. Everybody benefits from better communication skills.
I mean, so the art of communication, whether it's to get, as you say, to a second date or not, presumably filters out across whether you're in business or commercial or sales or whatever, but just general relationships, I would have thought as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a skill that's beneficial to have in all walks of life.
Yeah. And the course is taught. You're delivering the course yourself. Is it?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay. And all in person as well, which is really refreshing. It's good to see, given these strange times we're in now.
Yeah. And like you, I have missed in-person training, and I like interacting with the group. And this communication subject is really a fantastic start to bring us into the summer, and when we're allowed out again.
Allowed out again. It's like being kids, isn't it? Allowed out to play again. But it's a very good timing, I would have thought, to get ready for summer and sort of freedom out there as well. So if I wanted to look at the program, I go onto your website. Can I just choose one or two modules and say I want to do that one and that one, or is it a complete program in one?
No, it's a complete program. There's a logic inside the program. We start with the basics and then move to the Champions League. So you can't play the Champions League if you haven't covered the basics.
What a great way of doing it. So the guys will get that. They wonder about the Champions League, I think, all that sort of thing, the promotions through the leagues as well, which is great. Okay. So it's a complete program taught in person by you, 5 weeks starting on the 2nd of April, wrapping up on the 30th. And it's 5 weeks, 3-hour modules. Okay, fantastic. Now, if people listening to this, hopefully, and they're interested in more information, they want to get in touch or book their place, what's the best way of doing that? How can they connect with you, Claudia?
Yeah, simply get in touch with me, info@luxdates.lu. There will be also a description up on the website. There's also an Eventbrite page. So there's several ways to book this course.
Fabulous. So Claudia, well, I understand now. I might see if Lynn will allow me to come on the course as well. I don't know, but you'll probably say that I need it, I think. But it sounds very interesting. It sounds fabulous. Anybody listening in and you're interested in working with Claudia, it's Claudia Neumeister at Luxdates on this or any other Claudia's programs, please get in touch. Click on the link, go onto the website. I'm sure Claudia will be pleased to hear from you.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. So for now, I look forward to feedback on the course as well. Have a great time, and thanks for talking about it.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye. Bye-bye.